It was a quiet morning in Paris, calm, gray, and half awake. Street sweepers moved along empty boulevards, cafes prepared for another day, and the first trains whispered beneath the city. But inside the walls of the Louvre Museum, something unthinkable was unfolding. At exactly 5:30 a.m., the peace shattered. Alarms screamed through the marble halls of the world's most visited museum. Within minutes, police surrounded the building. Word spread fast. The Louvre had been robbed. A priceless treasure was gone without a trace. For centuries, the Louvre stood as a fortress of culture and history. But that October morning, it became the scene of one of the boldest art heists in modern times. At 5:42 a.m., Claude Mercier, a seasoned night guard with 20 years of service, noticed something odd on his security monitor. One section of the laser alarm system in the Galerie des Bijoux had been manually disabled. No alert, no malfunction notice, just silence. He decided to check it himself. As he walked down the corridor, the echo of his boots filled the air. The lights flickered faintly. When he reached the gallery door, his heart skipped. The heavy oak door, normally locked from the inside, was slightly ajar. He pushed it open. The sight inside was chilling. Glass display cases were empty. Shattered fragments of security glass lay scattered across the marble floor. And the centerpiece, the crown of Empress Eugénie, a jewel-encrusted relic of the Second French Empire, was gone. This crown wasn't just a royal artifact, it was a symbol of French elegance and imperial history, estimated to be worth over 20 million euros. But to France, it was priceless. Mercier's trembling hand reached for his radio. "We've got a breach. The crown is missing." Within minutes, the museum went into full lockdown. Security swarmed the halls, police were called, and by the time the first sunlight touched the glass pyramid above, the crime scene had been sealed off. As investigators examined the site, one thing became immediately clear. Whoever did this wasn't just lucky. They were exceptionally skilled. There were no broken locks, no forced doors. The motion sensors never triggered. Even the laser grid that guarded the jewels had been disabled at the control panel, something only a few people knew how to do. Experts soon discovered the entry point, a maintenance shaft located deep below the museum. The tunnel was narrow, dusty, and hadn't been used in years. It led directly to the same wing where the crown was displayed. The thieves had used it like a secret artery, slipping in unseen beneath the building's foundations. How did they know it was there? That's the part that made investigators nervous. Few people even knew that tunnel existed. It wasn't on public blueprints. Access required not only insider knowledge, but exact timing. Security believed the thieves had meticulously studied every detail of the Louvre's night shift, guard rotations, camera blind spots, and alarm reset cycles. An official from the French Ministry of Culture later said, "This wasn't theft. This was choreography." The operation was surgical, silent, and shockingly efficient. It was as if the thieves had rehearsed it 100 times. Many began to suspect an inside job, someone who knew the Louvre like the back of their hand. By sunrise, the media had descended on the Louvre. Police cordons surrounded the building as journalists shouted questions, flashing cameras into the cold morning light. At 9 a.m., France's Minister of Culture stepped before the press, visibly shaken. "This was a targeted and deliberate theft," she said. "The stolen objects are of immeasurable cultural value. We are cooperating with Interpol to recover them." Within hours, Interpol joined the investigation. Detectives from across Europe arrived to assist, tracing potential black market links and reviewing transport manifests. Then came the breakthrough: CCTV footage. At 5:25 a.m., 3 masked individuals in black suits appeared on a service corridor camera. Their movements were calm, precise, almost robotic. They carried small duffel bags, walked in perfect synchronization, and showed no hesitation. 17 minutes later, at 5:42 a.m., they vanished. No getaway car was captured. No alarms went off. The footage revealed one haunting truth: the thieves knew exactly what they were doing. One investigator described it best: they didn't just steal something from the Louvre. They made the Louvre look powerless. Days after the investigation began, a major breakthrough finally arrived. Authorities confirmed the arrest of 2 men in connection with the €88 million jewel theft at the Louvre. One suspect was caught at Charles de Gaulle Airport, attempting to board a flight bound for Algeria. The second was apprehended in Seine-Saint-Denis, a suburb north of Paris long known for its underground networks. Both men are in their 30s, already familiar to police from past robbery convictions. Investigators linked them to the heist through forensic evidence left behind at the scene, including DNA traces and a helmet discovered near a maintenance exit. Though the arrests sparked hope, officials warned that the investigation was far from over. The stolen crown was still missing, and both suspects remained silent about who else might be involved. In the days that followed, a flurry of speculation gripped both the media and the underground art world. Experts believed the stolen jewels were quickly smuggled out of France, disguised as industrial equipment. The prime route? Through Antwerp, Belgium, the global hub for diamond trade and a known crossroads for black market art trafficking. From there, investigators suspected the loot was flown to Dubai and possibly on to Hong Kong, destinations where private collectors with deep pockets could make such treasures disappear forever. But then came a new twist. A senior maintenance worker at the Louvre, Alain Duval, age 52, vanished on the same morning as the heist. His locker was empty. His phone disconnected. Duval had worked there for nearly 2 decades, long enough to know every hidden passage, every back door. Even more suspicious, security logs revealed that a fire alarm had been manually triggered at 5:20 a.m., exactly 20 minutes before the robbery. It disabled several security zones, including the gallery where the crown was kept. The timing was perfect. Too perfect. Some investigators began piecing together a chilling scenario. The false alarm was a diversion. Duval may have been involved, perhaps bribed or coerced, to disable key systems and vanish afterward. Meanwhile, art crime experts whispered about something darker, that the theft was commissioned. In the hidden world of art collectors, stolen masterpieces often find their way to private vaults, purchased through silent auctions held in encrypted corners of the dark web. These secret buyers don't seek profit, they seek possession. To own something the world can no longer have. And somewhere, perhaps right now, someone might be admiring the crown of Empress Eugénie, not in a museum, but in a private room, behind locked steel doors. The Louvre closed its doors for 48 hours, its longest shutdown since the pandemic. Security was completely overhauled. Every entry point was inspected, every employee questioned. The French public was outraged. The media called it the day Paris stood still. For many, the loss wasn't about money. It was about pride. The Louvre wasn't just a museum. It was the beating heart of French identity. And that heart had been wounded. Experts and historians flooded the airwaves, comparing the crime to the 1911 theft of the Mona Lisa, when the painting vanished for 2 years before resurfacing in Italy. But this time, the stakes felt higher. Interpol launched an international pursuit, following leads across Europe and the Middle East. Containers were intercepted, accounts frozen, and suspects questioned. Yet, every trail went cold. There were whispers of an Eastern European art syndicate known for precision jobs across Italy and the Netherlands. But without hard evidence, no arrests were made. And as the weeks passed, public attention began to fade. But for those inside the investigation, one question haunted every briefing. How could something like this happen in the most secure museum in the world? Today, the crown of Empress Eugenie remains missing. Some believe it was dismantled, its jewels scattered and gold melted. Others say it lies untouched, hidden in a private vault, waiting for the world to forget. But Paris will never forget. On that October morning in 2025, the Louvre, guardian of humanity's greatest treasures, fell to human ambition and greed. And somewhere out there, the thieves who pulled off the perfect crime still watch the world wonder how they did it. One thing is certain. That morning, Paris woke to a legend. The day the Louvre stood still,